All right, welcome back to Good Morning Vail. Joining us here in the studio now, the Chief Science Officer of the Alzheimer's Association, Dr. Maria Carrillo. Thank you for coming in today.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
So you came down from Beaver Creek. Was that
I
where
did.
You came in
That's
first
correct.
thing?
Mm-hmm.
Did you wake up and you're like, oh, we got snow on the ground?
I was shocked. It was quite a change from yesterday, which was a very warm day, and especially considering I'm from Chicago, I'm used to snow, but it was a little shocking to see it happen so quickly.
And it's so crazy. That's what happens around here on a
Wow.
regular basis, and then eventually it's just going to hit the ground and stay on the ground. Okay, let's get into your program. So you are the Chief Science Officer for the Alzheimer's Association, and this is national, or is this worldwide?
So the Alzheimer's Association is a global organization. We fund research in 20 different countries right now. We have about $100 million, thanks to the generosity of our donors, mostly in the United States, funded in those 20 different countries. So my job is to keep track of all that science and make sure that it's moving together. And tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about what that looks like and what's the hope for the future.
Now, have you done you do these kind of talks all over the country, probably
Definitely.
all over the world?
All over the world.
It's your first time coming to Colorado, or definitely to the Vail area, right?
It's my first time in the Vail area.
Have you been to the Villar Center?
I have not. I'm looking forward to it.
Perfect. It's like 530 seats, very intimate. It's a great place for this event. Tell us about the event.
So the event is, really meant to be an educational event and talk about Alzheimer's disease as a whole, talk about what it is, who it impacts, how it impacts. I think people, until they've experienced it in their lives, probably don't understand the level of burden and suffering that it causes, not only the family, but also that there's really unfortunately no cure, and that it is a disease that is progressively affecting your memory and will kill your loved one. And so I think it's important for people to understand what that looks like, but the hope for the future is that there is so much great research going on, and we'll share that with people tonight. I think sometimes when you receive a diagnosis, you think that is a death sentence, you're done. But there are things that can be done and should be done. And so we'll talk a little bit about that tonight.
Tell me about the U.S. Pointer study launching in 2018. What is that?
So, one of the exciting things that can be done, certainly to protect your brain health as you age, is physical activity and to really monitor your cardiovascular health. So overall, we do know that. But we don't know if it'll protect you from dementia or from Alzheimer's. It can help you stay healthy and stave off cognitive decline as you age, but can it really prevent Alzheimer's? Well, we get asked that all the time, you can imagine, at the Alzheimer's Association.
I'm sure.
What could I do to prevent Alzheimer's disease? And right now I don't have a good answer. I can tell you how to keep your brain healthy. So we decided that we would take this into our own hands, and in 2018 we'll launch a study that combines physical activity, cardiovascular control, very aggressive cardiovascular disease control, nutrition education to make sure people are eating in the right way, and cognitive training. So really challenging your brain with cognitive computerized tests. And over 2 years in Finland, people showed a remarkable savings in their cognitive decline over 2 years. And so we're going to try to replicate that in the United States.
Now, were you studying people that have like early onset of dementia, or
These are
just general
healthy
public
individuals
people?
who are at risk because they have cardiovascular issues and other things like that that are risk factors for Alzheimer's
Now,
disease.
is it also a genetic factor?
So there are genetic components to Alzheimer's, and we'll talk about that a little tonight. I was the scientific consultant for Still Alice, and thusly I was charged with taking a book that was 10 years old and putting it into 2015 context. And so in that, there's a very strong genetic component. So I'll talk about that a little bit tonight. Certainly, for most of us, genetics doesn't mean you're destined to get Alzheimer's. Okay. And so what can we do to make sure we keep our brains as sharp as possible, as long as possible?
Tonight, what time at the Villar Center?
We'll be at 6:30, and we'll be going for about a half hour where I'll just give people some background on the disease. And really, I would love it to be more of a discussion and spend about 30 minutes with questions and answers from the audience so that, I can give you a lot of information, but it'll never be exactly what you might be thinking. And so we'd love to have a discussion tonight.
And really, it is just a starting point. If you don't know, it's education and awareness. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice
Appreciate
to see
you having us.
So tonight at the Villar Performing Arts Center, you can go to villarpac.org to find out more about the tickets. The event is free, open to the public, and it gets going between 6 and 6:30. We have a look at the weather. We also have more Good Morning Vail coming up after the break.